The letter was stamped urgent, the decision final. A doctor who had broken every hospital rule to save a dying child was stripped of her license and branded reckless. Headlines mocked her as a danger to patients. Colleagues whispered her career was finished. She said nothing, walking out of the hospital gates in silence while the system punished her for compassion. But 72 hours later, when a motorcade of black cars blocked the same hospital entrance, the truth behind her decision shocked the nation. If you believe saving a life should never be a crime, type hope below. It began as an ordinary evening in the children's ward until room 309 went silent. The little boy's breathing stopped. His lips turned blue. Machines screamed alarms. Nurses froze in panic. They paged the senior surgeon, but he was stuck in traffic. Only one doctor was present, Dr. Maya Khan. She had been on duty for 16 hours straight, her eyes heavy with exhaustion. But when she saw the boy's lifeless body, her fatigue vanished. His mother collapsed to her knees, sobbing, "Please save him." He was 8 years old, his name Ayan, and his heart had stopped. Maya had seconds to choose. Protocol said wait for the surgeon, do not attempt the high-risk procedure alone, but seconds meant death. She grabbed the scalpel with trembling hands, ignoring the rules. Her voice shook as she ordered the nurses, "Clear the table now." The emergency cut was deep, blood rushing out. Her hands worked with desperate precision. She had only studied the procedure, never performed it alone. But failure was not an option. After 4 eternal minutes, a weak heartbeat returned. The monitors beeped again. The boy coughed air back into his lungs. The room erupted in tears of relief. The mother clutched Maya's hand, whispering, "You brought my son back." But outside that room the story was different. Hospital administration saw only broken protocol. They calculated risks, insurance liability. They noted that she performed a forbidden surgery without authorization. Meetings were held in glass offices far above the children's ward. Charts displayed policies, not patients. Numbers, not names. The conclusion came quickly. Dr. Khan had violated hospital rules. She was suspended immediately, license under review. She handed over her badge in a sterile corridor while senior doctors turned away. Some called her a hero. Others said she was reckless. She let feelings override procedure, one whispered. She risked the entire hospital for one boy's heartbeat. Alone, Maya left the building she had served for 12 years. She carried her stethoscope in silence and the weight of judgment heavier than any burden she had known. Her phone buzzed with messages. Some called her an angel, many called her dangerous. She turned it off and sat in her empty apartment staring at the ceiling. In the ICU, the boy was breathing steadily, surrounded by grateful family. But Maya would never meet them again. 3 hours later, the headlines spread across news channels. Doctor breaks rules, endangers hospital. Children's hospital suspends reckless physician. The noise grew louder than facts. Online debates split like wildfire. Some condemned her as careless. Others praised her as courageous. Social media turned her name into a hashtag, her photo into a meme. In the cafeteria, doctors whispered as she walked by, calling her the rule breaker. In local bars, her name became a joke. "Pull a Maya," they said when someone suggested bending protocol. Years of flawless service erased by one act of compassion. While critics mocked her, the boy's mother sat by his bedside whispering to her son, "She saved you, Ayan. She saved you when everyone else would have let rules decide." She wrote letters of gratitude to the hospital describing how her child's laughter returned because of one woman's decision. Her words never reached the news, drowned under criticism. Maya stayed silent through it all, refusing interviews, ignoring reporters waiting outside her apartment. She carried her decision like a shield, knowing the world had seen only rules broken, not the life saved. Hours after her suspension, black SUVs rolled into the hospital gates. Security men in suits cleared the corridors. Every doctor, every nurse froze in disbelief. The Prime Minister was here. No meeting had been scheduled. No public event planned. Whispers spread like lightning. What was happening? The hospital executives, lined up in their pressed suits rehearsing their excuses. They would explain why suspension was necessary, why rules mattered more than risks. But the Prime Minister did not walk toward them. Instead, he moved straight toward the pediatric ICU. Reporters scrambled, cameras flashing. Security agents whispered in earpieces. As the Prime Minister entered room 309, silence swept across the hospital. His gaze fell on the small boy sleeping peacefully surrounded by machines and a weeping mother. He bent down, gently touched the child's forehead, and turned to the cameras. His words carried the weight of the nation. This child is alive because one doctor broke the rules to save him. That doctor deserves honor, not punishment. Every face turned white. Every executive stiffened as realization hit. The boy in the bed was the Prime Minister's own nephew. Ayan Patterson, known only to close family but beloved beyond measure. Dr. Maya Khan's decision had not just saved a child, but preserved the heartbeat of the leader's family. The Prime Minister requested her presence. Security men escorted her through the shocked crowd. She stood in plain clothes, no white coat, no badge, just a woman carrying silent courage. The Prime Minister extended his hand, gripping hers firmly. Dr. Maya Khan, on behalf of a grateful nation and a grateful family, thank you for your courage. He pinned a National Bravery Medal onto her jacket before the world's cameras. Her suspension was publicly obliterated, not quietly revoked. Executives who punished her now stumbled to explain themselves. Their charts and policies looked meaningless against the life breathing in room 309. The truth spread instantly across every screen. The rule breaker had become the lifesaver. In that moment, the phrase "pull a Maya" transformed from insult to honor. Maya returned to medicine not in silence, but with a legend. She greeted every child personally on her rounds. She carried herself with quiet dignity. Nurses admired. Young doctors sought her mentorship, hungry to learn judgment that transcends textbooks. Parents whispered to each other in waiting rooms that their children were safe in her hands. And in one suburban home, a boy named Ayan grew strong, his laughter filling rooms that might have remained empty. His mother wrote Maya a letter every month for years, reminding her that some decisions are worth every punishment. Maya never boasted, never explained. Some truths defend themselves through time. Years later, whenever the Prime Minister's motorcade arrived at hospitals, whispers rose among staff. That's the doctor he honored personally. That's the woman who chose life over rules. And in the end, Dr. Maya Khan's story became legend, not because she shouted her defense, but because she stayed silent long enough for the truth to speak louder than any policy. Some honors cannot be given. They reveal themselves in the hardest choices. True courage, she learned, is knowing when rules serve life and when life must rise above rules.